So just a little bit of who, what, where, when, why, who can me. Myrsini. I double major in math and global studies with a concentration in development and change. And I'm also an international student from Greece. Interned as a teacher at Summer Bridge, Hong Kong. I'll give more details about the organization on my next slide, but I was basically in Kowloon district of Hong Kong. I was staying in Taiwan, so there was like an hour commute every day. And I was there for about 2 months from mid-June to mid-August. And why I'm really passionate about math education and international education. And I hope to combine those by becoming a math teacher at an international school in the future. And I'm also interested in approaching education from a holistic perspective and researching on social issues that affect the youth and their learning habits. So I interned with Summer Bridge Hong Kong. This is my second summer interning with the same organization. So I was there both in 2018 and 2019. That's me right here, looking awkward, trying to like make a pose for the picture. Summer Bridge is a nonprofit organization that provides free year-round programs for disadvantaged youth. It's middle schoolers from local secondary schools in Hong Kong. It was founded in 1992, and it's part of the Breakthrough Collaborative that started from San Francisco, California. And its main component is its summer program. So we have this like motto, English all the time, like we ask the kids, what time is it? English all the time. So it's like an English immersing environment for them to develop their English skills. So that is one of our top priorities, but also to help them develop their academic and life skills. The Hong Kong education system, it's pretty based on like passive learning, heavily based on standardized testing and building their teamwork skills, their leadership, their organization skills. It's something that they don't get to do at schools. And this is something that we try to reinforce at Summer Bridge throughout the summer. We are also based on a students teaching students model. So all the teachers are either senior high school or college students. And it's a little reminder that even though we're teachers, we like still learn alongside with them. And we try to maintain a student-centered teacher approach. So we have diverse academic subjects. We have small classes from like about 8 to 10 students per class. We try to be as more interactive as possible. So in a 45-minute class, we couldn't teach more than we couldn't teach or lecture more than 10 minutes. Everything else has to be activities and hands-on learning. And overall, we try to create a safe space for them to share their ideas, to make mistakes, to learn through that process. So kind of like more about my role specifically, teaching and learning at Summer Bridge. So at first I went through a 2-week training on teaching and youth development overall, which was succeeded by 5 weeks of teaching period. So Monday through Thursday I would teach my own class, which was Math and Ancient Civilizations. It was like a fun class for them to think about math from a different point of view. It's not just like equations. And I was teaching 2 different sections every day to about 10 students per section. I was also co-leading like a movie selective and another period that we called family time. So 2 teachers would be in charge for about 10 students, and we would like interact with them, maybe help them prepare for like skits. So this is Chris, he's one of my students, like singing on stage to I'm pretty sure it was Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. So, and then those are some of the projects I did with them in class. So like, they built their own abaci and like their own numeral system, their own currency, and then on the top left corner, they built their own like Parthenon models. So it's really like thinking math from a different perspective, and it's something that would build their confidence, it would build their creativity, and again, they don't get to do that at school. On Fridays, we had a thing called special events, so we had like Olympics Day, talent show, just like Chris right there showing off his talent on stage. I also participate in daily staff meetings, so I get to see how you run an organization and how a teacher, what are some teachers' responsibilities with their colleagues outside the classroom. And we ended this beautiful journey with our evaluation week, which was like a really good closer time for teachers and students to reflect on what they've taken away from their summer. And I was also department head of the math and science, so just some practicalities that I learned how to like do budget management for my department, running meetings. So that was also really cool. And on top of that, I had the Civic Fellowship Research Project. So with my supervisor, or like my faculty mentor, Dr. Spires, he assigned me like a book and articles on social issues in Hong Kong, mostly linked to education and disadvantaged youth. And also Dr. Spires has been a collaborating researcher with a nonprofit in Hong Kong, so he has a lot of connections, and I had the chance to meet with educators and students in Hong Kong and conduct informal interviews about what are their thoughts on the social issues in Hong Kong that affect education and what they have done to overcome these issues inside and outside their classrooms. Some examples are like I met with public school teachers. DSS is it's a different type of school. It's kind of like semi-private. Former university professors, recent university undergraduates. So I had really cool and meaningful conversations with them, and I reflected on those, and I documented them and presented them through a blog that I created. So those are some of my blog articles. And I got to visit like a public school, DSS school, and experience what the setting looks like as well. So one of the issues that, like, we touched upon many issues, but one of the main issues that intrigued me is the mental health crisis that is going on in Hong Kong. Students in Hong Kong, in order to get into university, they need to go through a very stressful examination system. It's called the Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education exam, and they take that like last year of high school, but they prepare for that long before. There's a whole business around it, so that adds a lot of stress to the students. There's more stress from the parents and the teachers and the whole society overall, with great emotional effects on their mental health, leading to anxiety, depression, and even suicide. I put some of the statistics that I found. For 2017, there were 75 suicides between the ages of 15 and 24. It's a pretty shocking number. So I got to experience this mental health crisis, one, through Summer Bridge and my work there. I could see from my students how they would be concerned about the exam, how they would be concerned about going back to school after summer, and also through my day-to-day life. For those of you who have been following the news, you probably know about the anti-extradition protests. Even that I think it's heavily linked to mental health because you see a lot of young, like middle schoolers participating in those protests, and I think it's like linked to many social issues apart from just freedom. And I got to talk about mental health with pretty much all the educators I met with. It was something that concerned all of them. And a few solutions that we talked about and they have implemented in their career, and I hope to implement as well, is one, focusing on life skills. So what Summer Bridge is doing by showing these kids what's beyond the classroom. I think the Hong Kong education system focuses a lot on them building their academic skills to excel these exams. They end up getting into college and they don't have any meaning for life, some of them. So knowing that there is more than just an exam and just going into college, finding passion, building skills that will get them through not just an exam but other difficulties that they will face in their lives is something really important. Art classes along with mindfulness and meditation is other tools that some educators I've talked to have used, and I also got to use in my classroom as well. And I think it's working. It helps students reflect on themselves and distress and find different ways of expression through that. And last but not least, also study abroad programs, getting them through the world, experience new cultures and learn from them and bring them back to their own society are really important things. So I got to experience those. And overall, my takeaways, I feel like I've grown a lot through this summer, both professionally and personally. When I came back to the U.S., I made it just before things get bad. And like when I told people I went to Hong Kong for the summer, they would either tell me that, wow, that's so cool, you experienced those protests, they find it really cool, or they would be like, I'm really sorry you went through that. I take away really positive things. It's been intense for sure, but at the end of the day, I still grew and I learned how to be flexible. I think that would be the #1 takeaway, even though I have it at the bottom. But I had to switch things around often with my class based on what was going on in the city. I definitely improved my teaching and lesson planning, classroom management skills. I feel more confident going through my postgraduate options and what I want to do as a career after college. I definitely gained a better understanding of the Hong Kong society. I consider even working and living if things get better in the future there. And I definitely increased my passion for education and the youth. So thank you.